hottest topics, the latest rumors, in-depth discussions, and the biggest headlines. Your weekly WWE fix all in one place. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Automatic, and SoundCloud. This is the Main Event Podcast with your hosts, Imran, Arif, and Raza. It's time for the Main Event.
What is up, everybody? I know it's been a very long time since we've done this, but welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. Man, it feels good to say that again. Hope you're all having a fantastic week, especially with the first week of the new era in the WWE now in the books. As always, if you've remembered, I'm your host, Raza, and joining me is none other than Arif. My friend, it's been a while. How are you doing?
See, now people are going to think that the podcast paused. Hey, everyone. How's it going?
See, that's one thing I didn't miss, was this. Usually you interrupt me. It's not the silence, so it's a bit weird this week.
New era, new attitude, new Arif.
Fair point.
If you want me to interrupt you...
No, it's fine. No, I'm perfect.
I don't have a problem with it.
No, that's fine.
Honestly, it's not a problem.
No, it's okay. Well, we can
you.
sit here, or I can sit here for a very long time and apologise for the serious lack of content, studies and everything. I'm sure most of you understand that, but we are back. It's a little strange thinking about it. Last time we were here, what was different? Enzo and Big Cass, Finn Balor also on NXT. Hell, Sami Zayn was on NXT as well, technically.
John Cena was in WCW.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura's arrived. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows have arrived. AJ Styles is here too. And
Paige was still in the womb.
Roman Reigns failed the drug test as well.
Oh!
Well done.
Gotta pay for that one.
And of course, the big news, the draft brand extension, Shane, Stephanie, Foley, Bryan, new titles. We'll get into all of that and more in just a second. But this is episode 52 of the Main Event Podcast. But yeah, before we do get on with the show, I'd just like to remind you that plenty of ways you can tune in every single week. You can catch us on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and SoundCloud as well. We're available on all those platforms. Simply search for the Main Event Podcast and you will find us. And the social media links or the fun stuff will be in the episode descriptions, wherever it is you're listening. It will be there. I'll make sure of it.
Now, Raza, I realise it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But is there really anyone on SoundCloud?
Yes.
Does anyone use Deezer? Is anyone listening to this on any media platform apart from YouTube and the iTunes podcast store? Let us know at our email address.
Oh, do you know the email address? Is that what you're trying to get me to?
Email address. It's been a long time.
It's tmepodcast@gmail.com.
tmepodcast@gmail.com.
That's what it is. Over there, you can stay updated with what's going on, what we're going to have on the upcoming shows, when we upload, all that good stuff. So yeah, I think the best place to begin this episode is a general overview or thoughts on the WWE Draft. Big news when it broke. To me, it seems like it came from nowhere, to be honest. Either it was a very well-kept secret or a last-minute decision, but it doesn't matter now. They've taken the plunge. Only time will tell whether this goes down as a success and whether the new SmackDown Live can actually compete with Monday Night Raw.
And it's indicative that the last week's episode with the draft itself drew bigger numbers for SmackDown than Raw did that week. Obviously, that's because of the draft.
Yeah.
But let's see how things go this week.
There's a lot to talk about, both big shows this week. There was a lot of rumours about the general
Both big shows?
No, I think one's enough.
There are two big shows?
One is more than enough, trust me.
One is several.
Yeah. A lot of rumours regarding the general managers. I didn't have any clue that Mick Foley was going to be unveiled.
No idea.
As the Raw general manager, especially with Stephanie McMahon by his side. I did hear rumours about Daniel Bryan, but I was still pleasantly surprised to see him back. What do you think? Good choices?
Very good choice on SmackDown. I can definitely see Mick Foley being usurped at some point by Triple H.
Yeah.
But currently, yeah, I think it's a good way to bring people to the brand. He's a likable face. He's a likable Foley. Yeah. I mean, he's probably the most likable Foley.
I don't know, his daughter's quite, No,
but
overtaking him.
You've seen the advert. Stop smiling. Nobody smiles at cardio. And no, she's not likable. But yeah, but Mick's good. Have a nice day.
Mick is good. I did think Stephanie McMahon would say Triple H is the general manager. I didn't know.
But then we would have gone back to the Authority all over again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So maybe it is a good way to have Mick become this massive. He's already a massive face, obviously, but be the ultimate good guy general manager, eventually taken over by Triple H.
It looks like, at the moment, it looks like him and Stephanie are working well together, which is strange.
Which is not going to last. I think everybody knows that's not going to last.
No, I've got faith. I have faith in their partnership. I have faith in their team.
How long do you think? It's not as strong as ours, is it? Let's be honest. You're the Stephanie to my Mick Foley.
If you want to put it that way, not even bullets could kill us,
Yes.
right?
I don't
So
know.
bring it on.
No, please don't. No. What about
Don't bring it on.
the draft picks? The order itself. As far as I'm aware, Brock Lesnar was supposed to be pick number one. Then the whole
How
anti-doping.
strange is that, though, to have Brock Lesnar as your number one pick, generally speaking?
I think it's. I don't know if it's a waste of a pick because he's not going to be there, but then he's Brock Lesnar, the guy that ended the streak, one of the most destructive superstars ever.
In terms of kayfabe, yes, I agree with you. In terms of Brock Lesnar as an entity, he's there 6 months out of the year, if that. For your brand, you need somebody there who's reliable. And now I can understand, obviously, why they went with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose as the first respective picks for Raw and SmackDown. I would have been disappointed to see Brock Lesnar as the first pick.
I think that only shows the importance, but it's a good thing that he's on Raw as well, because Raw, more superstars, longer hours. If it was on SmackDown, that would have been a waste of a pick in total,
Agreed.
I think. But yeah, the whole anti-doping violation, I think, found out today that WWE aren't going to be taking any action. Considering he's...
As they shouldn't.
He's a part-time superstar.
Exactly.
But that is... I don't know. It's a tricky one, because you're not setting a good example. It gives WWE a bad rep as well, because think of how many others are juiced up. But yeah, you can't do anything about that. What's happened has happened. We'll see what else happens.
Well, you know who else is juiced up?
Who's that?
The guy who is not doing too well for himself these days. Got a loss at the pay-per-view. Got a loss on Raw.
Oh, yes. As in, we'll talk a bit more about Roman Reigns in a little bit. But yeah, then there was the news about...
Somebody do a little bit of that.
What is that?
Well, he's injecting himself, Raza. I don't know. He's slapping his arm and then he's injecting himself. This is how the kids do it.
Yeah, let's not teach them that. Let's just get back on.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. Then I think Cena was supposed to be a top draft pick as well. Then the news broke about his lighter schedule, so it doesn't make sense having him as pick number one. There are rumors that he might miss Backlash, SmackDown's first exclusive pay-per-view.
Imagine a world where John Cena and Brock Lesnar are your first two picks for Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And you don't have the WWE champion up there. What does that say about your title?
Exactly. I think I wrote something about this, that Dean Ambrose had to be a top pick, regardless of his Raw SmackDown.
You can understand exactly where Stephanie comes from by picking Seth Rollins, especially when he has a title match he had a title match at the weekend, and they thought he would be the one who would walk out with the championship,
like they did when the Authority was still there.
Exactly.
But having the likes of Rollins, Ambrose, Styles, Balor, Charlotte go so early on, that's good signs, isn't it? Good. Yes, definitely. Step in the right direction. The draft show itself, I was a little underwhelmed by it, if I'm being honest. Obviously, it was going to draw huge ratings, as you said, considering it's the draft. It's making a return. I couldn't help but feel it was a little bit rushed. There was no real incentive, other than the draft picks, other than Cena, other than the World Title match, to really tune in. I thought...
other than the three biggest things.
Yeah, but it's fair enough, it's a 2-hour show, but then what I mean by I feel a little bit rushed is you have your... I don't know how many picks it was, and then, now you can go to WWE Network and find out the rest.
But that's how they've always done it, though. They've always had the main picks on the big show or the main show for the day, and then they always have the rest of the picks either on WWE.com or now on the WWE Network.
I would like to see most of them or televised. But I think it's obviously a perfect way to use the WWE Network to get people to tune in. But yeah, what did you...
Reza, just be thankful we don't have that second screen experience anymore.
Oh God, did anyone use that?
You did.
I've never used a second screen experience.
You always used to say, "Oh wow, did you see that move during the advert break?" And I said, "No, I'm making a cup of tea. Stop."
That was never me. But what did you...
These were our weekly conversations during Raw.
With it. But yeah, for me, no real drama, no shocks. Because I think we knew NXT guys are coming up. They were rumoured to be 6. That was the case. But
was it 6 with the self-proclaimed world's greatest tag team?
I think, they were counted as 1.
Oh, okay. Okay, so who were the 6 then?
Balor. There was...
Corbin.
Corbin was there for a while. You almost had me there. Jason Jordan, Chad Gable. There was Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and your favourite, Mojo Rawley finally got...
No, Reza. Let's not do this.
Okay, we won't. But yeah, as I was saying, I thought this was a transition heading into Battleground, heading into Raw, heading into SmackDown Live. Obviously, that changed on Monday. What did you think of the draft show itself?
I enjoyed the draft aspect of it. I didn't enjoy the fact that they didn't show the reactions of the superstars as they got drafted.
Yeah,
I think that's a big miss. So we didn't get to see Cesaro's initial reaction to getting drafted to Raw. We got to see it later, but it didn't feel like it meant as much as seeing it live. A lot of these superstars, so it would have been good to see Brock Lesnar's reaction. It would have been good to see John Cena's reaction. It would have been good to see AJ Styles' reaction when he realizes that he's not going to be a part of the club anymore. These little things.
That's something they used to do when they were all backstage, took their shirts off and stormed into the next locker room, the rivals' locker room. But yeah, I think things like that would have made a big difference for me.
And I think that makes more sense, possibly, once the draft has been established for a year, and then you have switches between people.
Yeah.
So possibly in a year, when you have these switches of factions on a massive show, trades, I think that's when we'll see it more. Yeah. But overall, enjoyable show. I did like it. I think just because it was a draft.
I think we got what was advertised.
But no surprises.
Yeah. Moving on, Battleground this past Sunday night. Do you want to give your thoughts first, or shall I go with mine?
So I think we're going to differ on this. I thought it was a solid show.
Okay.
I thought it was a very solid show. I thought Bayley's debut was amazing. Actually had me slightly in tears, I'm not afraid to say, because you could see how much it meant to her. And you could see how much the crowd absolutely adored her. And it's the same crowd. Like everyone thinks that these NXT stars won't be able to make it on the main stage. And yes, there have been a couple that haven't been able to. But a lot of them come from NXT with this mass following that they wouldn't have got if they came straight into the WWE or started in a lesser promotion. Yeah. So for Bayley to debut and just have that in her arsenal, in her locker, it was beautiful. It was genuinely beautiful. The rest of the show, solid. It was very solid. The main event, a decent match. John Cena and Enzo Amore, Big Cass versus the Club. Again, decent match. Obviously, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn was incredible. Generally, a good show. What were your thoughts?
For me, it was a standard show.
That just could have interrupted me.
But
you need to get on the same page, Rosa.
That's not going to happen. I think that's what everyone was expecting, but there was no way.
Damn it, Monsoon!
There's no way the WWE were going to have massive surprises other than Bayley a night before the brand split comes into effect. I think, the one big surprise was Bayley, which many people probably already predicted anyway. There were no real other options, if I'm being honest.
True.
Which I believe is a one-time thing, so she is back on NXT for a while anyway.
Which is strange. It's like the WWE doesn't see this reaction that these superstars get, or these divas get, or these women get. I think
it's just that Bayley's needed on NXT.
True.
That she's carrying that division. Asuka doing a fantastic job and everything, but the only way Bayley can move up is when she helps create newer stars. They're not there yet. So, she's still doing a good job down there.
And she's still young. She still has the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, for me, the only real talking point was, apart from Enzo's incredible promo, by the way, got to give him credit for that. Yeah. The real talking point for me was Roman Reigns being pinned. Do you think the fact that Reigns took the pin for the loss is almost a middle finger from Vince to Reigns for what he did? Or is it about avoiding making Rollins look weak?
No.
Or a bit of both?
Oh, that's not fair.
So it's a bit of both?
Yeah, possibly. I definitely do think that Roman Reigns taking the pin is very, very clearly Vince McMahon sticking up that middle finger and saying, this is what you've done to my company, therefore this is what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to make you take this pin. I'm going to make sure you keep getting booed, and I'm not going to turn you heel for a while. I think he does need to genuinely turn heel now, and I know we've been saying it for years, but this is the prime opportunity to do it, because he's taking these losses, whether they be on purpose or whether it just be the best thing for business. It just makes sense for him now to change his attitude completely. He just seems so stale. He seemed like he came back and nothing changed.
That's true. I agree with you. I think the perfect time to turn heel was on Raw following the main event. But we'll get into that. You think Battleground, solid show, I think, an okay show. Let us know what you think about.
So the little things like the main event really felt like a real main event, because you had the three members of the Shield, but you also had the commissioners and the general managers and the the GMs and everything for SmackDown and Raw at ringside.
But
They were there for a reason. They were there to really cheer for their superstars, and you could really see that emotion come through.
I understand
thought
that.
everything about it made this show great.
I understand that. I understand how important it was, but I felt that took something away from the main event. This is the Shield triple threat. This is a WrestleMania main event worthy match. The focus should be on them.
Yeah, but you don't do that on a Battleground pay-per-view. They can have another one. Just because it's the first time they've wrestled together doesn't mean that it's going to be the best match they've ever had.
I hope it happens again, and I hope the focus is on them next time.
Yeah. No, of course. And I do think this could be a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam main event in the coming years.
Yeah.
Right now was maybe too early for it.
That's a fair point, and it probably won't happen for a while either. I think separating them in the draft does help build the anticipation for the day it does happen, because it will happen sooner or later.
Agreed.
Let's move on to Monday Night Raw, the first one in the so-called new era. Really pulled out all the stops, didn't they?
Well, they moved back to 2002 even.
Yeah.
So 2002 with the announce table on the ramp, which is so strange.
It is strange. But what did you make of the big changes like Corey Graves' first night on Raw commentary?
Even Byron Saxton was good.
That's a very good sign, isn't it? It's that chemistry between them that...
Yeah, that NXT chemistry. And do you know what? The only person out of the three that's really letting the team down there is Michael Cole.
Yeah.
He still comes across as really brash and really up himself is probably the easiest way to say it.
But I think he's needed there to help, whether we like him or not. I think his presence there.
An experienced head.
Yeah.
Possibly. I do think in the coming years you'll see Byron Saxton and the other dude, the guy who's not as popular. I don't know who he is really. Some people say he could be the next CM Punk. I disagree. I could definitely see them two coming into their own and becoming the new main team.
I think Byron is probably going to be the number one guy. Corey Graves, popularity-wise, Corey Graves will be number one, but I think the experience they both have on the commentary team, I think Byron is ahead now.
Agreed.
So then, the new set, new commentary location, addition of Corey Graves, theme song, logo, post-match interviews, so on. What did you make all of that? As I was saying before, it's the little things that make it...
Well, look, they needed to upgrade everything, and they did. They really did. It did feel like a new show. I don't know if it felt better. I really don't know if it felt better.
Okay.
I've never... This is going to surprise you. I've never really been a fan of the brand split, because having a brand split means that I now have to watch two shows, whereas before I was very happy with watching just Raw and having the recaps of SmackDown and maybe reading up on SmackDown afterwards. But saying that, they needed to make a change. For better or for worse, they needed to make a real change. I don't think it's too early to say. I don't think it's necessarily the right thing to do at the moment, change-wise.
Okay. But fans were calling for a bit of a change. I think the longer...
The grass is always greener on the other side, Reza.
It might succeed.
That's why you're Byron Saxon of this podcast and I'm the GPL.
Oh, fine. I thought you were going to say something else, but I'll take Byron.
You'll take Byron.
I'll take him. The logo, I wasn't a fan of that first. I think we discussed it. It looks quite old. But I think I warmed to it on Monday night. I think it really fits in well with their graphics. The song fits in well. Who doesn't love Corey Graves? I think those little additions were important.
You know what? The roster on Raw is stacked as well.
I think it has to be with 3 hours.
Superstars on there. They're all bona fide main eventers as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the little changes have made a big difference. Just some of the big talking points. Couple I picked out. Sasha Banks, new champion.
Wow, that's the best thing. I completely forgot that happened. That's one of the best things you can do on the first night of a new show.
But
show what the change can be.
I did have a little bit of an issue with this. One, I think Charlotte should have been champion for a very, 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 very long time. The best way to build her up as a heel.
How will she become the 16-time world champ?
I don't want her to be a 16-time world champ.
What?
I don't want her to be a 16-time. But yeah, I thought that's the best way to build her up as a heel. The biggest heel female athlete on the roster. I thought Sasha Banks, obviously she deserves it, but I couldn't help but think this was just a quote-unquote cheap way to make fans believe, oh my god, a shocking title change on Raw, this is incredible, WWE's great again. They're giving Sasha Banks a chance. I did feel a little bit of that.
You completely no-sold my woos.
I didn't know. I couldn't hear your boos.
Oh, really?
I didn't know. I didn't know you were.
Oh, I just ran outside my house and started wooing.
Do you want to do it again? I mean,
Okay, back in a second.
okay. But yeah, I'm happy with Sasha Banks as champion.
Yeah.
The little stare from Charlotte at the end, kind of bit of respect, and a little stare down.
So this was her first title reign, correct? Sasha Banks's.
On the main roster, yes.
Doesn't it feel a little bit rushed?
That's exactly my problem. That's what I thought. I thought they're just forcing this.
I can see your point of view, but I mean just from Sasha Banks's perspective. Yeah, I understand it's rushed in the sense of look, a title match can happen and look, anything can happen on Raw. But from Sasha Banks's perspective, she deserved a much longer build up. She only re-debuted a week ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
It seems really strange to then throw the title on her. Yes, the people love her, but is it too much too soon? I mean, I love her, but that's a different story.
Oh, she's an incredible athlete, but I think
Fantastic.
I think it is a bit too soon. If there was a time to have a walkout as champion, you'd pick WrestleMania in that triple threat. But after that, I thought Charlotte should have kept hold of it for a very long time.
Do you know what it is, though, Rosa?
What
I
is
think
it?
it's just the fact that she had a dream where she thought she could make it.
I see where this is going.
Everyone sees it.
Do you not know the song?
Just
That's like the lyrics. Do you know the lyrics?
away.
I'm sure you got like 80% of the lyrics incorrect.
Soul taken. Now my name is Charlotte. That's what it says in the song.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I'm still happy with it. It's nothing to complain about. I think it's rushed. You think it's rushed. I think Charlotte should have been champion. You think
Charlotte should have been champion.
still? Okay.
I don't think they should have taken the title off her.
But again, I'm really excited to see where they go from here. I think there were rumours that Charlotte's going to stay champion for a while. They'll build Dana Brooke up and then turn her face.
Do you know what? There's no problem with what they've done in the sense that we're still going to watch it. We're still going to enjoy it. Yes, it's something that we wouldn't have done, but let's see how they run with it. This is going to be the litmus test.
Yeah.
Let's see where they go with this champion now. Let's see where they take Charlotte as the challenger. Let's see how they develop the other characters around that title as well. I still don't understand why there's women on SmackDown when the Divas title, the women's title, is on Raw.
That exactly seems like they're not fighting for anything. The tag teams as well.
I don't understand. Maybe it's because Raw's a 3-hour show, but still, it doesn't make any sense.
But then you could argue, Raw doesn't need the new championship because. But then
they could have Rusev as the face of the brand.
Exactly. Who doesn't want Rusev as the face of the brand? That's a face you'd love.
Rusev Putria, Rusev Machka. I think my accents have gone.
They have. We'll get there. Consistency.
The Bulgarian brute, Rusev. I can do that one a little bit, maybe, possibly. A little.
So creepy.
So bad.
But yeah, the other big talking point, obviously, Finn Balor's debut, a little quieter than other NXT debuts. Through. Oh yeah, probably made the biggest impact though, despite having the quietest NXT debut. 2 good matches, 2 good fatal 4-ways.
Define quiet, because he won the number 1 contendership.
No, I mean quiet as in how did Kevin Owens debut? Music came from nowhere. My God, it's Kevin Owens. I meant they introduced Finn Balor and he just walked.
So it wasn't a surprise, but we knew he was coming.
Oh, we knew he was coming
because he was the number 6 pick.
Yeah, I mean it was the least surprising, but the biggest impact, I'd say.
Okay.
For NXT debut.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, but 2 good fatal 4-way matches. Firstly, Reigns getting pinned again. There was a what? Thank you.
See, I can do the backing vocals for you.
Finn Balor winning. Before I get into this next major point, good decision or bad decision to not only win the first fatal 4-way, but to become the more contender.
Possibly the best decision they made on the night. Finn Balor's come in and really cemented himself in that WWE title picture, WWE Universal title picture. And I'm sure we'll get onto that in a moment.
Of course.
It's genius on the part of WWE, because what we're forgetting is the Universal title is going to be secondary to the WWE title.
Yeah.
And because of this, it's okay for the WWE to put the title or a title like this on Finn Balor. But also, from our perspective, we're looking at it as Finn Balor's just come in, completely decimated the competition, and is going straight to the top. And that's the best thing we could have hoped for. This is what we kind of hoped would be the case with AJ Styles. And yes, he was in a main event title match in one of his first matches on a pay-per-view, but he didn't quite get the championship. There's really a hope now for Finn Balor to be the face of Raw.
I liked it, but there's someone who I found out didn't like this. A man called Vince Russo. He went on a rant regarding Raw as a whole.
So this is the same guy who helped run WCW into the ground.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The great Vince. Yes. Okay.
Yes. No, I just want to know your thoughts on some of the comments he made, which made me laugh.
Drink it in, man.
It's. I don't know where he's coming from. But yeah, he says Finn Balor booked to defeat Rusev and Reigns in the same night. On his first night was the nail in the coffin. He says wrestling's dead. Because
How?
of
What's his basis for this?
basically, do you want me to run through what was said?
Let's go through it. Let's pick it apart piece by piece.
Right, he says, in a night that was written to shame and embarrass Roman Reigns for failing a drug test, Stephanie McMahon kicked off the show by calling him a loser on the top of the stage, claiming he cost Raw the title the night before. So what does she do to the loser? She books him in a fatal four-way match, giving the loser an opportunity for the WWE title.
Okay. So what's the problem with that?
I have no idea.
You need number one contenders.
Yeah,
Obviously, you're going to put the person who was recently in a championship match, who up until approximately a month and a half ago was your champion. He has as much right to be there. He's definitely going to be in the top 8 people in the company or on the show who deserve a championship match.
I think what
he has to be there.
I think what people are forgetting is that, he made a mistake. Yeah, he's not going to be pushed, but he's still a big star for them.
It's not even that kayfabe wise. If we think of it from a wrestling perspective, from a WWE perspective, it doesn't make sense to take him out of the main event because he is a main event star.
Yeah,
he is one of the top 8 or 9 superstars that's going to have to be challenging for the championship.
I agree. So these notes, the show on the whole. So I'll read them out.
Okay.
He goes, the best part of Finn Balor is his special entrance that comes only at the big shows. I guess his debut on Raw wasn't a big enough show, didn't warrant a special entrance, so he came out looking like a regular guy to the casual fans that had never seen him before.
Casual fans who were chanting his name, regular guy on the first show, that's the whole point. So then when he debuts, he can wear this expressive clothing, expressive face paint and body paint that he wears on real pay-per-views and special occasions, and the first of which we'll see is going to be at SummerSlam.
You don't want to give this away
challenging for a championship.
You don't want to give this away on a Raw.
Exactly.
Takes away from the appeal.
Look, you've already given people Finn Balor's debut on the main roster.
I agree. I trust me. I'm on your side.
Look, Vince Russo's right in that sense. One of the best aspects of Finn Balor's character is the face paint, is the body paint, is all of this demon. Exactly. This entire character of the demon is fantastic, but you don't do that on the first night. You build up to it.
Well, don't get me wrong, he is.
Anyway, you need to debut the Balor Club. That's the whole idea of this right now. You had the Balor Club entrance. As soon as that popped up, you knew what that meant. Everyone knows what that means.
Sooner or later it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But some things he said were correct. Well, you'll know what they are when you hear them. He says super kicks.
I don't know, Rizza. A lot of this right now just seems like poppycock.
Super kicks are the new craze. There's at least 5 in every match now, none of which are devastating enough to put an opponent away. This can apply to us. Ask your buddy to kick you square in the face tomorrow and let's see how quickly you get up. I volunteer to do the kicking.
I would love to see him try and kick somebody. I think his Anyway, I think Paul Heyman said this best on the Stone Cold podcast. Other podcasts are available. He said that, and I can't remember who it was, but it may have been someone like Mark Henry. Let's say, for example, you give Mark Henry the bear hug as a finisher, and he puts a bear hug on someone, and you really start selling that bear hug as the biggest finisher in the world, and then someone else puts a bear hug on someone else.
Yeah,
you're never going to believe that second person doing the bear hug is ever going to be as strong as Mark Henry. It's not about the move. It's about who's using the move effectively. Just because someone's doing a super kick doesn't mean that they're able to do it to the effect of Shawn Michaels. Just because someone's doing a frog splash and not getting a pin doesn't mean that they're doing it to the same effect as Eddie Guerrero. Far from it. This is not how wrestling works. It's the person, not the move. This is why when people steal other people's finishes, 99% of the time the people will kick out. That's just how things are. As John Cena gets older, another point on this, and I realize we're going slightly away from it, but it just shows that the finisher changes depending on the person. John Cena hits his attitude adjustment on people now. People kick out regularly because you could argue John Cena came back off a long injury. John Cena has lost it now. His mind's gone slightly, so he's not able to put the move on to the same sort of effect. And that's how things work these days.
100% agree.
Vince Russo is an A double star.
Yeah.
Just a terrible double star.
But again, I was reading this and it did make me laugh. Like, how out of touch can you be? It's like his mind's still in the 90s where you need these outlandish characters. No, you really don't. He said they put Balor
You know what,
over...
people? We tell you about this so you don't have to go and find it yourself and give him views.
Basically.
You're welcome.
Yeah. They put Balor over Rusev, and I swear Balor looked half his size. Good observation. This is where...
Rey Mysterio used to beat Kevin Nash.
That's one thing I wanted to say. He says Finn Balor killed... Well, he's implying that Finn Balor's win killed wrestling, but you could argue that Rey Mysterio did it. He probably killed wrestling.
But then it's not killing wrestling.
It's not dead.
If wrestling is still going strong.
Exactly, he's not dead.
Is wrestling dead? I'm sure we had SmackDown straight after Raw, right? If wrestling was dead. Then...
Yeah. I don't think we'd be sat here talking about wrestling.
On the return episode.
Yeah, what a way to come back.
Bit of a well, everyone, wrestling's dead. Thanks for coming.
He says Nia Jax over in a squash match. Outside of the internet fans, why is anybody going to watch a fake fight when they know who's going over before the bell rings? Good luck with this upcoming football season. Again,
this is something that wrestling has done for years. This is the best way to build somebody up. Brock Lesnar, when he debuted, was squashing people left, right, and center. This is how you really debut someone as a monster. This is how you do it. I don't understand. It's like he's completely forgotten everything he knew about wrestling, which wasn't much to begin with.
Can't blame him then.
It's such a strange... Was this a tweet or was this on a blog?
This is on a blog he wrote for... I'm not going to tell you because then you're going to give him views.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's from the internet, people.
Actually, I mean, if you want to go to givemesport.com, you can read about it there.
There you go. I've heard there's a really, really cool cat called Raza who writes stuff like that.
Incredible guy. Thank you. That's a nice thing you ever said.
No, it's not you. It's a different guy.
That's a nice thing you ever said about him.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
He says, I don't understand this. He swears Sami Zayn's made out of rubber because nothing hurts this guy. I'm guessing that's praise.
I don't think it is. I think he's trying to say that Sami Zayn doesn't sell.
Okay.
That's the impression I'm getting from that. So nothing seems to hurt him, so he's not selling his injuries. Look,
he's a guy with heart, isn't he? He needs to...
Exactly. He's the sort of... He's not doing it like John Cena does it. If you're going to blame anyone, blame John Cena for that. John Cena does that week in, week out.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn puts everything into a match, and you can see afterwards by his emotions that he's hurt. It just so happens that throughout it, he's running on adrenaline. He tells that story. If he didn't, he wouldn't be on Raw.
Exactly. Still be... not even on NXT TV.
Every person on that roster is able to tell a story.
Yeah. Even Baron Corbin.
Exactly. But it's genuinely true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, of course. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be on NXT TV, let alone the flagship show. There's a reason he's drafted to Raw.
Exactly.
New Day sketch was BRUTAL. That spells brutal. There was nothing funny about it.
Just in case. I was lost halfway through then.
It's Vince Russo, isn't it? So,
did he spell his own surname? Russo?
He says, at least the club puts us out of our misery by getting some heat. Look, New Day aren't going to be incredible week in, week out, but they have been.
What was their promo?
It was the Keith promo. Brother Keith. Advertising the cereal.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It was pretty terrible. But the club coming out and doing their thing was pretty cool.
Yeah, of course, that's a good way to get some heat.
Exactly.
I don't disagree with this one. At this point, they should just put Curtis Axel on the ring crew. Fair point.
It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? When you've got this second generation or third generation superstar who just isn't able to get over for one reason or another. It'll be good to maybe see him go down to NXT and really just train the next generation. If he can't make it in the WWE as is, then maybe that's the best place for him. But possibly I'd agree.
He can have a future. I mean, look at Tyson Kidd, who went to NXT, reinvented himself, had some excellent matches. Because Axel, but I said McGillicuddy. Then Axel is a good wrestler. There's a reason people at The Rock come back and train with him because he can wrestle.
But he is quite boring in the ring.
He's boring. That's why he should go back on NXT while teaching the others. He can obviously improve himself, be on NXT TV.
Maybe
get
put him in a
footage
tag
over.
team.
Yeah.
Maybe get him over that way. Like that's the best thing that could have happened to Tyson Kidd.
Exactly. Look when Tyson Kidd came back. He was an incredible team with Cesaro. Incredible reactions. They were champions at WrestleMania, I think, for the tag team as well.
They were.
So it can work.
One of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. All time, Michael.
He says the girls stole the show. I agree. Worked their backsides off.
Yep.
Even he says he would have.
Work their Russos off.
He would have kept the belt on Charlotte as well. I agree.
Can we make that official? Can we just anytime we refer to A double stars, we refer to them as Russos?
I'm more happy with that.
Whereas like kiss my Russo.
No, I'm not gonna.
That's weird.
Even he says Charlotte should have kept the title, but he says the internet fans are winning again. The WWE are giving in because their darling Sasha Banks is now the champion. But he did credit it. He said, she's believable. She showed emotion. Yeah, give credit to her. But he thinks it's because of us that the WWE gave in.
It's because people cheer. What does he want the WWE to do? Put the title on people who nobody cares about. They've already done that with Roman Reigns, and look at how far the ratings fell. So of course the WWE are going to put their title on people that people like.
Exactly.
People being WWE superstars, and then people being the universe. In the two instances I used people there, I just thought I'd be clear.
I understand. Braun Strowman in another jobber match. He says this is how the roster is going to be slim filled every week, and he can't wait for more squash matches. Again, it's a good way to build Strowman as a single star now.
Exactly. Having the jobber give a reason as to why he was there. The jobber really come out with a decent promo, just saying, look, at the end of the day, I don't want to be here, but this is what I need to do to get ahead. It shows that there's opportunity. And then for Strowman to completely destroy the jobber is great because it makes people hate the guy. It makes people feel sorry for the jobber. And conversely, it makes people realize that, you know what, this guy's here to take notice and really... It doesn't care who's in his way. There's not much else that we can say about this. Vince Russo seems so far removed from wrestling. It's ridiculous. It just seems like an old man who's trying to get his point across to anyone that would listen. And of course it's going to be on his own blog. Of course it's going to be on there. Of course it's not going to... Because at the end of the day, if he went on any sort of show and tried to express these views, people would shoot him down just like we are.
I agree. Just quickly to finish off with this Russo segment, he did say Enzo and Cass, the best things on the show, they should have advertised them, promoted them throughout the show rather than keeping it a secret. Understandable.
But we knew they would be on the show. I don't understand.
Of course. And again, a bit more...
I feel like I'm being very critical now.
Yeah, but it's you have to be with things like this. If he was right, you take his side.
Yeah.
When you're out of touch, when your mind is still in the 90s, when you're credited for bringing down WCW as well, it's hard to agree. But yeah, very sarcastic.
We've never been the biggest fans of WWE in the sense that, yes, we'll make excuses for them sometimes.
Yeah.
But also we'll call them out on their Russo booking.
Yes.
A double star. Booking when they've done badly, and when they've messed up, we will complain, and that's what we do. As do a lot of wrestling fans. We're not saying we're special. We're just saying we just have a medium where we're able to express our views, and it's just a shame that someone like this can come along and think that they know more than the millions of people that watch the show week in, week out, the hundreds of thousands of people who work there. Who work their Russo off to give us a good product. And when they actually succeed and when they actually do something right, to break them down and say, oh, well, this isn't right, oh, they've killed wrestling. It's just out of touch, completely out of touch.
I agree with you for the first time ever, 100%.
It's a new era.
It took us Vince Russo to get us to agree on something.
It took us 3 years.
Yeah. But yeah, back to Raw. Again,
the enemy of my enemy is
Finn Balor. What a night for him. Winning the fatal four-way, pinning Reigns clean on his first night. Now he's in the main event of SummerSlam against Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. Who the hell would have thought that's going to happen?
Can we talk about the title yet, or is that later?
I'm on that now. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is
Russo
I guess name
we'll
for a
know
title.
more once we see it, but that name is terrible.
That's so bad. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's something you'd make in a WWE video game.
Exactly. It's something that you would imagine was like the TV title at,
Yeah.
at TNA or something equivalent. It just doesn't seem real until you see it, and then you think this is the most idiotic decision in the world.
But that's perfect for SmackDown. Now
Oh,
they
definitely. Do
we've
you know
got
what? If it
biggest
was the other
title.
way around, it would be ideal.
Yeah.
I would have said, yes, okay, SmackDown have got their own championship. Yes, it's not the WWE Championship,
Yeah.
but it's a 2-hour show.
I'd agree with that, but I'm still happy to see SmackDown get importance with the main title. But then again, the Universal Championship, even though it is a Russo name, it might look good. But Balor and Rollins are two kind of guys who can give the belt some justification, some importance.
Have they wrestled each other before?
Maybe on the independent scene as Devitt and Tyler Black. Not the WWE, because I remember when Seth Rollins came here, he was still Balor was still in Japan. So I don't think they've ever wrestled here. But it's again a big occasion for both of them.
I see.
Imagine Balor, you wake up one day, find out you're going to get drafted to Raw, then you find out you're in the main event of SummerSlam against Seth Rollins for what is effectively a World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, of course. The strange... Are you worried that he'll lose?
The thing with me is, I can see both winning, I can see both losing. For me, it doesn't matter if Balor loses because I can still see the Balor Club forming sooner or later, and we win as fans.
I mean, we could get the face turn from Rollins via the heel turn from Balor with the Balor Club.
Is it worth doing?
I think it is. I think making Seth Rollins your face of Raw would be huge.
Yeah.
I think someone needs to take the place of Roman Reigns. I really think WWE must realize now that Reigns has dropped the ball and that he's not going to be the face of the company.
That's unique about Rollins, that he can be the face and the heel.
Exactly. He can be anything
company,
and everything. Yeah. The fact that they didn't bring him back as a face was questionable.
Yeah, but I think now you understand the face turn is needed.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, as I was saying, I don't mind if Balor loses, because sooner or later the Balor Club is going to be there. This is not going to be Finn Balor losing and that's it, we'll forget about him. This loss could still set up for something even bigger. Whether it happens at SummerSlam, whether it happens later, this could set him up. But to get a main event world title match in your first pay-per-view is something I couldn't even imagine, from NXT as well. What do you think?
I think I'm worried, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for us as fans, because we're going to see someone that we've followed, especially us, we've followed for a long time from NXT. It's going to be good for new fans, because he can back it up in the ring. We've already seen that. His finisher looks insane. It looks like it really hurts. And that's what you want from a new superstar. You want someone who brings that tenacity, that brings that real power and real commitment and real... I mean, he's what, 34 years old now? 35?
34, yeah. So he's getting on a bit, but...
This is the perfect time to do it. It's good that they did it now. It's good that they put him in the main event, because it shows that they've got faith in him. It shows that he can make it there.
I agree. Again, exciting
You're
time
agreeing
to be.
with me a lot today.
It's just because of the returning podcast. Wait till it's next week, and completely different story. Finally, let's give SmackDown Live some love in the main event this week. That concludes the first week of the new era. We'll have to see what happens next week. I don't know where to begin. I'm confident you don't know which video package played.
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
You know Rhino's back.
Rhino's back? Yeah, I know that. I know Rhino's back.
But the thing with Rhino is I'm not 100% sure if he's exclusive to SmackDown.
Okay.
They're in contact with...
What do your sources tell you?
My sources tell me he's on Raw and SmackDown.
Right. So just what you just said.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I was quoting what my source said.
Okay.
My source being the dirt sheets. Jinder Mahal, but he's not a video package. He's set for a return.
What?
Yep.
Where did he go?
They fired him. I think... I remember very clearly it was on an episode while we were recording an episode. There were all these releases coming.
Oh. Did we get really upset about it?
No, because we didn't talk about it because it didn't fit in with the show.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't talk about it.
He's set for a return. I think they've contacted Carlito, which Shining Stars probably desperately need.
Definitely.
MVP, but he shot the rumours down.
Okay.
Some of the crews where I think Tajiri's coming back.
Okay.
Tommy Dreamer.
Okay. Are any of these people part of the video package?
No. The video package is the gold standard. Shelton Benjamin.
No!
Is coming back.
Hey, no, stop me. No, you can't rock the man. Don't stop. Well, we've already got him on Raw.
No, we don't. This is the gold standard.
No, we do. We have him on Raw already.
Who?
He's in that tag team with Kurt Angle.
He's on SmackDown as well.
No, he's in the tag team with Kurt Angle's kid.
It's Kurt Angle's kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
really?
Angle brothers. Kurt Angle's kid. You know, Reddy Willing and Angle. What's he called?
Oh,
Yeah, Reddy Willing and Angle and Shelton Benjamin. They're on Raw, Rosa. Please, I think I know my draft.
I'm glad you do. But yeah, I know. I remember you being a big fan of Shelton Benjamin.
A huge fan of Shelton Benjamin.
I'm excited by it. I'm sure you are as well. I think it's exclusive to SmackDown as well because the promo.
One of my favorite memories of Shelton Benjamin was when it was Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump
Oh no!
at WrestleMania, and he faced Umaga for the right. I mean, he won. He was on Donald Trump's team. He faced Umaga for the right to shave Vince McMahon's hair bald. And you know what? They did it. He was a lot more stacked back in the day.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was strange.
But we'll see if he still got it. I think he's like 41 years old now. But again,
Damn it, Shelton!
experience adds a lot of it to SmackDown.
Well,
what
what about Charlie Haas?
Charlie Haas isn't anywhere to be seen.
To be fair, he did get traded up for Chad Gable, so it's fair enough.
Fair point.
Oh, it'd be good if we could see the self-proclaimed world's greatest tag team versus the self-proclaimed world's greatest tag. It's really hard to say.
But the thing is,
Team Angle versus Team
a few days ago, there were rumors on Twitter that Angle's agreed to deal with the WWE. It's not confirmed.
Okay.
People like Dave Meltzer haven't said it's happening as well. It's not the case yet.
I feel like if Meltzer doesn't say it, it's not going to happen.
Meltzer has been right quite a
A
bit.
lot of the time. No, I mean that. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Meltzer is probably one of the two people that I trust with sources, the second being you.
That's a great company to be in. Thank you.
Everybody listen to Reza. He knows his stuff.
Thank you.
He's roommates with it's
Sasha Banks.
Kane.
Kane? Imagine having Kane as a roommate. No. Let's move on to the women's segment.
I don't, not roommates, lovers, but that's a different story.
The women's segment on SmackDown. I think that alone shows the Raw women's division trumps SmackDown's women's division. Raw got a 20-odd minute masterclass wrestling match between Sasha Banks and Charlotte, and in SmackDown you get a rehash of Battleground, plus Naomi, plus Alexa Bliss.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely smitten over Alexa Bliss.
But
I think we should talk about her more often. We should have the Alexa Bliss moment of the week.
I wish I could, but there was nothing there.
This moment was the fact that she was there. Next week it has to be something different.
Okay, I'll let you be in charge of that. It's your job.
Oh, damn it. I already got 3 jobs.
This is your main job.
I've got to turn up, I've got to record, and I've got to listen. That's 3 jobs.
I'm sure you'll be fine with that. The Alexa Bliss segment.
To be fair, I think I will too.
And then Eva Marie coming out as well. I didn't see the point of it, and I think it's worse when you consider there's no title to fight for.
It does seem really strange. I think we will. Why didn't they didn't have the tag teams on one show and the women on another show? I don't know.
I think tag team.
You could have still had Lana on one show. You could have still had Maurice on the other. Obviously, they're not wrestlers; they're valets. It would have been, but it's just doesn't work for me. I
agree. I think sooner or later they'll change that. I think that's what SmackDown should have done. I mean, Raw kicked off. We got a new championship. SmackDown could have done the same. We're getting a new championship. I know they're probably copying that.
What title would you give them? Yeah, see, it's not that easy, is it? They probably had the same impression you did. They were just sat there like, well, it's 3 minutes till the show starts, guys. Do we have anything?
Let's be honest. Anything would have been better than the name of the Universal Championship.
But that was Raw. That was different. Raw.
Something could have worked. I think bringing back an old time.
What else would you have called it? What else would you have called the WWE Universal Championship?
I genuinely don't know, but what I would have done is bring the Cruiserweight Championship back to SmackDown instead of Raw. Because now that Raw's got exclusive rights to the Cruiserweights, that just makes SmackDown even less.
That's a very, very good point.
Cruiserweight.
That's a very, very good point. So SmackDown has the WWE title and the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep, that's correct.
And Raw has the US title, tag team titles, the women's title, and the Cruiserweight title, and then soon to be the Universal Championship.
Pretty much, yeah. And
So
because
5 championships to 2.
I think being a 3-hour show is not a good enough excuse to have
5
everything.
titles.
Yeah.
I think we need to move one over at least.
It has to be Cruiserweight. I mean, because the thing is, the fans' perspective is JJ fans want to see the best wrestlers,
Yes.
the Balors, the Sami Zayns, the Kevin Owens, these independent guys, most independent guys now you've seen in the Cruiserweight Classic.
So isn't it strange, though, that you've just mentioned Balor and Zayn and they're both on Raw?
Yeah. I think
I really would have thought people like that would have been on SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree. I
really thought that SmackDown would be the show for your Cesaros. Your AJ Styles obviously is there, but Kevin Owens could have made it on either show, to be fair.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, Neville, Finn Balor. It's really strange. I mean, we need to talk about Cesaro in a short while.
Yeah, I think it's all about ratings. So what do fans want to see? Fans want to see the best wrestlers on SmackDown. So you give them the Cruiserweight Championship, and you've got a separate tournament on Wednesday nights with the best cruiserweights on the planet, and you're giving them to Raw as well, where they probably won't shine as much in a 3-hour slot where people do get bored. You put them on the 2-hour show, you give them a stacked wrestling card with the best wrestlers, the best matches, and watch how SmackDown's ratings go up. And they've missed out on that.
So what do you think the main event will be at SummerSlam?
SummerSlam will still be Raw.
Now.
If Raw's 3 hours, if Raw gets 5 championships, I see no reason why Ambrose will main event SummerSlam.
Especially against the person that he is scheduled to face.
Oh man, let's talk about that now before we get into Cesaro. Who the hell saw him winning? Me personally, I will be the first to put my hand up. I ruled him out straight away.
Yeah, of course. I think he was up there with possibly Apollo Crews. But even Apollo Crews, I would have thought would have a better chance.
For me, it was first two. Styles and Cena probably going to face off at SummerSlam. They're out. I thought Bray Wyatt was the wild card in this. He's got the history with Ambrose. SmackDown is the perfect show to make him your biggest heel. Probably second to Styles.
Okay.
But again, you can't.
Then let's go through everyone else and then we'll reveal the name. So, Baron Corbin.
I love the fact that he was in the match. I would think it would have been a really good opportunity.
Yeah. Bring him up for NXT, have 2 NXT stars within the last 6 months be in the main event at SummerSlam would be huge.
I 100% agree. I think then you have to consider Rollins and Balor is the bigger match, and then you automatically have your main event.
But then I think it always would have been anyway.
I guess so. Yeah.
Unless it was Cena main eventing, or even possibly AJ Styles. But like you said, we would have discounted those superstars anyway. We've seen Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in the main event before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Corbin would have never been there. Apollo Crews would have never been there. Therefore, I think it would have always been the Raw main event as the big show.
I guess you can't argue with that. Again, fantastic opportunity for Corbin though to be in a qualifying match. You could say a number contenders match. Same for Apollo Crews. To win the Battle Royal. I thought it was going to be Del Rio for some reason. I had a strange feeling they'd give it to him.
I forgot he was even there.
I think he was one of the final few eliminated. Then it came down to, I think, Ryder, Kane, and Crews. I think when you think of it that way, when anything can happen, I think it was just a toss-up of them 3 to be in the match. Because being in a no contender match alone is something massive. You're like one step away from a championship match. So
match, yeah, exactly.
So I think that's why it was great for Corbin, great for Crews, good experience. But the winner,
well,
Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
The show off. Are you happy with that?
Do you know what? I'm happy for him. I think he deserves it.
But
I
again,
think he's one of the best wrestlers on the card. He's become a little bit stale recently. Let's not beat around the bush. He's very average at the moment in the sense that we now realize that yes, he works really hard, but there are several wrestlers that are better than him on the roster at the moment.
I think the issue for me is you can't expect me to believe he went from being a practical jobber last month to the number 1 contender the next.
I think it's the way he won the way he won the number 1 contendership though.
Yeah.
Was very much indicative of that. He snuck in, super kicked.
He took his one opportunity,
Exactly, he took his opportunity. If he can do the same thing against Dean Ambrose, then so be it. He's our new champion.
I think the best thing to happen to him now is a heel turn for Ziggler. I'd like to. I think he's so boring as a face.
But then if you make him heel, you do the same thing that you did when he was world champion, and you give him a hot girl, and you give him a muscular guy, and then you make him choose between them. No, you make him.
I picked the muscly guy.
Find out which one. I'm pretty sure he would as well. No, you make him into this like stable, and then people will get behind him again.
But then you have the same people who criticize him for going back to their old ways. But if it works, then can't really argue with that. But yeah,
if it ain't broke, why did you break it?
That's a good way to put it.
That's exactly what they did.
But yeah, that is the first week done. I don't think I'm missing any big news out this week. We've covered most of it. I think the big question is, before we go, who wins this first week?
I would say Raw, purely because of the fact that they gave it to someone new. They gave that spotlight to Finn Balor, and then they had the camera on him for a long time after.
Oh, sorry, we did forget something. Cesaro.
Oh, yep, Cesaro.
I think that's the story of his life there. We just
yeah.
I've heard Cesaro.
Well, did you see him? Did you see him on the pre-show for the pay-per-view for Battleground?
Yeah, I think his pre-show comments and his post-draft comments were unscripted.
And you can tell by the way he spoke.
So apparently there is a bit of backstage heat on him, not so much that he will be buried, but there's enough backstage on him, according to various sources, that Vince McMahon respects people who do that.
Okay.
And the last person to speak out got a whole summer named after him when he dropped a pipe bomb. I'm not saying Cesaro's going to go that far, but it's expected that his comments could lead to a push, which is good.
You know what? If he was on SmackDown, I would have said he would be the better choice than Dolph Ziggler right now.
But Raw, I don't know who made that decision.
It's so strange. But then that's probably what's lit the fire under him.
I guess.
The fact that he's been put on Raw. So I guess apples and oranges and pears and bananas and berries and the grapes are a fruit.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think, going back to the final question, I think Raw won as well. And if I'm being honest, I think Raw's always going to win, which is sad. I want SmackDown to win. I want the blue brand to be successful, but at the same time, if I'm being very realistic, the second brand split won't work in SmackDown's favour because I don't think it's designed to. You can see that with the roster, you can see that with the titles. I think it does have...
No matter how much we want it to be the case, SmackDown is always going to be a B show.
Yeah. I think it has room for improvement, obviously, massively, yeah. But
of course.
If Tuesday night was an indication of the direction they're headed, Raw automatically wins. They have the fresher roster, stars that actually represent the new era and the future of the company. The key thing for SmackDown is they needed better names. Cesaro, I think if Bayley was to come up, Bayley would be better suited to SmackDown. If they want another NXT star, imagine having someone like Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown.
Oh, wow.
To get SmackDown fighting
But then you
Raw.
can see that happening.
Yeah. But again, as I was saying before, there should have been some blockbuster announcements. Shane and Bryan should have reinstated an exclusive division of their own to counter Raw's Cruiserweight division, something. We needed information on the future of the women in SmackDown and the tag team divisions, but none of that stuff was done. And
it's the first week. Let's see how things go.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was the first week. That's why I think Raw won. I think all of the time, all of the 2 hours went to crowning a number one contender, which went, as I said, to a guy who hasn't been relevant in God knows how many years, came off a program of jobbing to literally everyone, having matches with Baron Corbin, going from the main show to the pre-show, working minor shows in Ziggler. Now they expect us to believe he's main event talent again. Yeah, the talent's there, but it's not believable enough for me. And
Rizza, don't sugarcoat it. Tell him how you really feel.
If there was no brand split, I guarantee you Dolph Ziggler would still be jobbing right now. That's a fact. It's just what it is. I just don't buy him as the more contender. And I hate to say that about Ziggler because we know he's got it. We know he's talented. He's had personal battles with the management. I think they've ruined his appeal that he once had.
Do you know what? For that little tirade, I think I need to give you a gift.
What's the gift? Oh, no.
You want to know what the gift is?
You know what? I do. I was waiting for this whole show.
I want to give you the gift of Jericho. Drink it in, man.
And with that, it's time to end the show. Thank you for listening to all of that. Thank you for Ari for coming on, taking the time on to be here, talking about the new era.
Thank you, Rosa. It's been enjoyable. Give us time and we're guaranteed to rock your socks off.
guaranteed. If not, I will personally come to you.
Money back.
Your
Any
first-
money that you've spent on this podcast, we will give you that money back.
No, we won't.
Raza will drive to your house and drop you off the money right now. Go, Raza, go.
But I spend the money on my car that I'm going to be driving.
Damn it. There's always a loophole.
It always is. But again, yeah, thank you very much. Again, listen to us wherever, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, SoundCloud. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode. Hopefully more news. Big news, I should say. Lesnar's returning next week as well, so that should be interesting.
Rhino.
Right, of course, Rhino.
Shelton Benjamin.
SmackDown Live, the Jason Jordan and Chad Gable debut. That's something to look forward to.
That's going to be huge.
And hopefully we hear from Finn Balor a little more as well, if he comes face to face with...
Hey,
Seth.
I like the fact that he's not saying anything right now. It's good enough for me.
Sooner or later it's going to happen. 3 weeks left. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Go, Raza, go.
But I spend the money on my car that I'm going to be driving.
Damn it. There's always a loophole.
It always is. But again, yeah, thank you very much. Again, listen to us wherever, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, SoundCloud. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode. Hopefully more news. Big news, I should say. Lesnar's returning next week as well, so that should be interesting.
Rhino.
Right, of course, Rhino.
Shelton Benjamin.
SmackDown Live, the Jason Jordan and Chad Gable debut. That's something to look forward to.
That's going to be huge.
And hopefully we hear from Finn Balor a little more as well, if he comes face to face with...
Hey,
Seth.
I like the fact that he's not saying anything right now. It's good enough for me.
Sooner or later it's going to happen. 3 weeks left. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.